If you can't follow these 5 rules for the next 90 days, then you're not ready for the life that you say you want. I know that sounds harsh, but I need you to understand something. This isn't going to be some fluffy productivity advice that makes you feel good but changes nothing. These 5 rules are non-negotiables. They're the difference between those people who actually manage to transform their lives within these 90 days and people who are still making the same excuses on January 1st. Remember what I said in part 1 that the Great Lock-in wasn't about willpower. It's about creating an environment where success is automatic and distraction becomes difficult. So these 5 rules are going to show you exactly how to create that environment. I'm going to break down each rule, show you how to implement it, and by the end of this video, you will have everything you need to join a small percentage of people who actually use these next 3 months to completely transform their lives. Here's how I learned these rules the hard way. About 2 years ago, I tried to lock in for the first time. I made this massive list of everything I wanted to change. I was going to wake up at 5 AM, work out, meal prep, build my business, read every night, journal, meditate, basically become a completely different person overnight, and you can already see where I went wrong with this. Day 1, perfect. Actually, not even. Day 7, I was exhausted. Day 10, I was back to making excuses, and by the end of 2 weeks, I had already completely given up and was already telling myself that I start again next month. Sounds familiar? That's because I didn't understand the rules yet. I was trying to run a marathon without training, wondering why I kept burning out. I was running on fumes with the misunderstanding and the expectation that I would do a completely 180-degree change overnight. So these 5 rules aren't just random productivity tips. They're based on neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and the actual patterns that I studied from people who have successfully transformed their lives, which I actually have a full playlist breaking down lessons that I've learned and studied from learning from celebrities. So I'll leave it here if you're interested. Each of these lessons and rules build on the last one, creating a system that's impossible to fail if you follow it correctly. So rule number 1 is to cut the noise, and I don't just mean social media, although that one is pretty obvious. Everyone talks about deleting apps and going on digital detoxes, but that's just the surface level stuff. The real noise isn't what's on your phone, it's what's in your head. It's the mental clutter that keeps you scattered, unfocused, and overwhelmed. So here's what cutting the noise actually means. You can only focus on a maximum of 3 things during this lock-in period. Not 10 things, not 5 things, just 3. And maybe if you're just starting, I'd recommend just even 1. When I finally did my successful lock-in, I chose 3 things. Starting my YouTube channel, having a consistent workout routine, and creating more. Not my YouTube journey and then my fitness journey and then creating more and then my artistic journey, then learning a new language and then looking for a new job. No. Just my YouTube, my health, and being creative. Everything I did had to serve either one of these 3 goals. Did I still spend time with my loved ones? Yes, but only when it gave me the opportunity to recharge and reset. Did I still read? Yes, but only the books that helped me understand the mindset, the mentality, the game of productivity and self-development that I was after. Did I still socialize? Yes, but only with people that I truly hold near and dear to my heart. This rule forces you to confront something uncomfortable. You can't have everything you want right now. You have to choose. And most people would rather stay stuck with unlimited potential rather than choosing and committing to a path afraid that it might be the wrong one. But here's the secret. There is no wrong path. There's only the path that you commit to and the one that you don't. And this is the best mindset shift reframe that I'm convinced I will ever have. Most people waste so much time worrying about making the wrong decision when in reality, you can just make a decision and make it the right one. So right now, pause this video and write one thing down that if you achieved it in the next 90 days would completely transform your life. And if you're just starting out, not 10 things, not 5 things, maybe not even 3 things. just one thing. That's your focus and everything else is noise. Rule number 2 is daily discipline, and not in the way that you would think. Everyone thinks discipline means forcing yourself to do the things that you don't want to do, but that's not sustainable for 90 days. Real discipline is designing your day so that the right choices are easier to make. So it starts with your sleep schedule. I know, this sounds so boring and you've probably heard it a million times before, but listen, everything else falls apart if you don't get this right. You can't have consistent energy, focus, or decision-making abilities if your sleep is chaotic. Trust me, if you're anything like me, and if you get anything less than 8 hours of beauty sleep, I'll literally become a whole other demonic creature if I don't get a good night's sleep. So why make this even harder for yourself? Just get the rest that you need. The non-negotiables, same bedtime, same wake time, every single day. Yes, even on weekends if you can. Even when your friends want to stay out late, even during the holidays. And you can't forget about your morning routine, and this is where it gets interesting. Your morning routine doesn't need to be overly complicated. It just needs to be consistent. 10 minutes of washing up, 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of skincare. Simple, that's it. No 1 hour long meditations, no complicated workout routines, no elaborate breakfast prep. Just 20 minutes that set my mind right for the day. And I'm not saying that complicated breakfast prep or taking the time to really enjoy your morning is not efficient. But what I am saying is that the important and key thing to take note of here is that you need a consistent and repeatable system that you can rely on every single morning. Because while taking an hour to prepare your breakfast can seem very therapeutic for the first day, I think for most of us that can actually become very draining to sustain. So save those beautiful slow mornings for when you have the time to take a step back and relax. So why does this work? Rule number 3, self-care. And this is the one that will either make or break your entire lock-in. Most people think self-care means bubble baths or face masks. And I mean, that's not entirely wrong. Self-care during this lock-in period means ruthlessly protecting your energy so that you can sustain your high performance for the next 90 days. Because here's what I discovered. You don't just run out of willpower, you run out of mental energy. And if you don't actively restore that energy, you will burn out every single time, no matter the new routine or productivity hack that you try. So during my lock-in, I replaced mindless scrolling with intentional restoration. Instead of watching Netflix shows that I really had no interest in for 3 hours straight, I would read or watch something that I was genuinely curious about or something that I could learn from. Instead of doom scrolling TikTok, I would plan and film videos. Instead of gossiping with friends, I would literally just spend more time in my head going over whether or not I should really be having these thoughts in the first place. Notice I said replace, not eliminate. You can't just remove things from your life cold turkey and expect to feel fulfilled. You have to learn to replace low-value activities with high-value ones that will still give you pleasure. For me, reading became my Netflix. Planning and filming my videos became my own form of social media. Introspection became my gossip sessions, except I was having conversations with myself that would actually move me forward. Rule number 4, overcoming challenges, and this is where most people give up. Here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. Locking in is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have bad days. You're going to want to quit. You're going to feel like you're missing out on a lot of things. But the real challenge isn't the bad days, it's how you handle them. Most people think one bad day ruins everything. They have one slip up and use it as an excuse or evidence that they're just not cut out for this. Oh my god, I made one mistake, that must mean I'm not meant for this, I'm not good enough for this. Here's another mindset shift that changed everything for me. Progress over perfection. Your goal isn't to be perfect for 90 days. Your goal is to get back on track faster every time you fall off. Bad day, reset tomorrow. Terrible week, reset this upcoming week. The strength isn't in never failing, it's in always managing to get back up. I built reset rituals into my system. So every Monday, I would review the past week, acknowledge what went wrong, celebrate what went right, and set new intentions for the upcoming week. This prevented small setbacks from becoming major derailments. You have to first understand what you did right, know how you're going to replicate it, then what you did wrong, and figure out what actually happened and how you can move or stop it moving forward. Because you can't just fix mistakes by willing it away. Repeating the same process and expecting different results is literally the definition of insanity. So if you're already doing the work and changing your habits and systems, make sure you just spend an extra 10 minutes every week to review those systems, and then you can make proper adjustments. And rule number 5, track everything, but not for the reason that you might think. Most people track to see results, but that's not actually the reason why you track during a lock-in. You track to build evidence and self-trust of who you're becoming. And if you'd like a whole deeper dive onto this topic, I actually already have a full video up on this topic that I think can also greatly help you if you're serious about your journey of locking in. So I'll leave it up here if you're interested. So for example, every time that you wrote down that you worked out, you're not just recording an activity, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who works out. Every time you track your daily priorities, you're not just being organized, you're proving to yourself that you're someone who follows through. You're showing up and telling yourself that yes, these are my new habits, I am now a person who works out, is organized, who follows through on their to-do list. This is now me. My tracking system was super simple. Just 3 categories each day, 1 for each goal. That's it. No complicated spreadsheets, no detailed analytics, just a simple way to stay connected to my progress and my identity. And here's the secret weapon, it's visual tracking. I had a section in my daily planner, let me show it to you right now. This is my planner. I'll use any reason or excuse to show it off. So this is actually a new planner, so I don't have too many visual trackers to show off right now. So I'll just show you how I set it up. So for example, I have this little portion of my tracker where I just list down the 3 categories that I'm focusing on for this period. And this is a weekly system. So every day that I show up to work on my goals, I put a little tick in it. Not for every day that I felt motivated or I only get a tick when I achieve something big, but just every day that I showed up to work on my goals. Seeing that chain of ticks grow longer just becomes so addictive. I just didn't want to break that chain. I actually have this really distant dream of creating a planner or tracking journal system for people like us who are just trying to achieve our best selves or trying to achieve that next level. Just something to help us stay organized and stay consistent. So this method is something that I really truly believe in. For now, I actually have already compiled a list of my free journaling prompts and guides that you can use for your reflections and your resets, and they are 100% free to download and use, so I'll leave them in a link down below if you're interested. These 5 rules work together like a machine. Rule 1 gives you focus. Rule 2 gives you foundation. Rule 3 gives you sustainability. Rule 4 gives you resilience. And Rule 5 gives you momentum. I know what some of you are thinking right now. This is so restrictive. What about spontaneity? What about fun? What about living in the moment? Here's a hard lesson that I learned. True freedom comes from discipline. When you're scattered and unfocused, you're not free. You're enslaved to distraction. When you lock in, you become free to create the life that you truly want, instead of just reacting to whatever comes your way. And let's be real for a second. You've been living in the moment and being spontaneous for years. How's that been working out for you? Are you closer to your dreams, or are you stuck in the same place making the same excuses? I'm not saying never have fun and never be spontaneous. I'm saying be intentional about how and when you choose to do it. During this period of lock-in, my fun comes from watching myself transform. Because here's what's going to happen when you follow these rules consistently. They start to compound. Week 1 is going to be hard. Week 2 is still challenging, but you're going to get into the rhythm. Week 4 is when it's going to start becoming natural, and by week 8, you can't even imagine living any other way. By day 90, you're not just someone who has achieved a goal. You're someone who proved to yourself that you can actually transform any area of your life with the right system and through consistency. So if you're ready, here's what you're going to do right now. Today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not in January, today. Write down your 1 focus area. Design your sleep schedule. Identify 1 low-value activity and replace it with a high-value one. Set up your tracking system. And most importantly, decide who you're becoming for these next 90 days. And because I know accountability makes all the difference, drop a comment down below right now with your 1 focus area for the next 90 days. Let's create a community of people who are ready to lock in. I would love to cheer you guys and your goals on. I'm even thinking of recommitting and doing another whole lock-in period for these last 3 months of 2025. So I might document that journey and share with you the real struggles and the real lessons and insights that I've learned real time. So remember to subscribe and follow my TikTok for more real-time updates. You are definitely not alone in this, so I'll see you on the other side of the transformation. Until next time, take care of your heart, your mind and your dreams. I'll see you in the next video very soon.